friendship gardening to interrupt loneliness. So my name is Colin Newton. I'm an educational psychologist, co-founder of Inclusive Solutions, and also current director of Inclusive Solutions. Now, we've been chewing on this whole theme of gardening for friendship for a number of years now, and we know it's not straightforward, but we also know, particularly in kind of COVID times and not quite post-COVID, are we? Still in the middle of it. The challenge for children and young people of isolation and loneliness have never been higher, really, and the risks never higher as well. And there's a lot of national anxiety around mental health, but for children and young people who are disabled, who are very different for whatever reason, loneliness is very real. And some of those young people barely hanging on to an online friend to keep themselves kind of sane, really. And we know that's very, very risky for young people, because if you were to ask the typical 13-year-old on any of the main continents, if you had no friends, what would you rather be? Most are probably going to end that sentence with, I'd rather be dead than have no friends. So that's how high the stakes are for many young people. So we've got this idea of gardening friendships around the notion that friendship, what can you do to create friendship or support friendship being created? Well, the broader banner for this is the intentional building of relationships. We can do some things that create the conditions for which friendship is much more likely to take place. And we have to think about, what can we do? What can we do as adults to facilitate the possibility of relationship and connection for children and young people? What can we do? Because we can beg them, we could order them to be friends, and we could plead with them, but it's not going to happen, is it? It's just not going to happen. It's not that simple. All we can really do is a bit of gardening. So if you think of what we do in a garden, to prepare a garden for kind of hoping something will kind of grow in it, well, often we do a lot of digging, we do a lot of preparation in the earth. We'll kind of pull out the stones, we'll get out the gravel and stuff. And we prepare the soil as best we can to facilitate the possibility that growth can take place. And it seems to be exactly the same with friendship. There's things we can do that make the possibility of connection and friendship much, much more likely. But sometimes we have to do a lot of work on preparation. So for a new child coming into a school or starting in a new setting, there's all kinds of things we can do to prepare to make sure that they're much more likely to get a good start, a more positive beginning to their time in that place. I'm sometimes talking with the other young people, encouraging them to give their best possible start, the best possible welcome to the young person. And there's lots we can do around welcome and creating welcome teams and welcome committees, as we know, and we've talked about that elsewhere. But in terms of the conditions around friendship, well, what can we do? Well, we can do anything that brings together a child or young person together with other young people who share an interest. So no matter what their label or their condition might be, we simply zoom in on their interests. So maybe they're really into Minecraft. Well, there's other young children who are interested in Minecraft as well, who would really be interested in their passion. Maybe there's a specific thing they'd love to collect. Well, who else might be collecting that same thing? Maybe there's a particular kind of music they absolutely love and they know a lot about it, or they're very, very drawn to it. Well, again, who else would share that passion? And where could they encounter that young person? We were working recently with a young woman. She has cerebral palsy, she doesn't speak, but she absolutely loves to try and sing, even though her words are indistinct and her voice is kind of interesting. It doesn't matter, she loves singing. So the notion of her perhaps trying to join a choir came to mind, where she maybe would get a good welcome. So we went about trying to find a receptive choir, maybe based with the local church or another youth organisation, where she'd get a good welcome because of her passion around singing. So sometimes we have to be a bit out of the box with this, but it can be very beneficial. The other work we've done, which you'll probably seen on our website and on our YouTube channel, is the work around the inclusion facilitator. But the main thrust of their job is to try, working with the person-centered plans around that young person, is to work with that young person to take them somewhere where they can pursue their dreams as well as their interests. So sometimes the person-centered planning could inform the work of the inclusion facilitator in their support around the young person. Again, to interrupt loneliness, to kind of maximize the possibility that some kind of friendship might be possible. And then, of course, there's the work we have around creating a circle of friends around a child. And here the notion is to literally recruit other young people of the young person's age and kind of do a bit of gardening in the kind of peer group to see what might be possible. So we're kind of growing relationships and friendships, and the idea is we literally recruit other children or young people, depending on their age, from the peer group. They meet up weekly with the young person, and they see what they can do to make that young person's mobile phone ring. They see what they can do to really maximize contacts and connections that could lead to a friendship. And you'll see lots on our website, you'll see lots on the YouTube channel, and of course we've got our book, Creating Circles of Friends, on this very theme. So we think you can be a friendship gardener, you can interrupt isolation and loneliness, just by thinking carefully about some of the things you do, and also thinking carefully about things you might do that could screw up relationships and friendships. Sometimes too much adult involvement completely gets in the way of friendships just naturally forming and being created. So plenty more for you. If you'd like to have more on this theme, on this subject, just put your comments at the bottom of this video. If you liked it, like it, and if you want to subscribe to more, just sign up to subscribe. And I'd love to share more thoughts with you in the future. If you want to learn more about this way of working, get into our online school. Start with Creating Circles of Friends training. There's a lot in there for you on this same theme. Thanks for listening.